So one of the most important things to know when studying grouper reproduction is that most groupers are hermaphrodites. So species such as the yellow-edged grouper here, they are all born as females, and at some point in their life, some of them will transition and become males in the population. And this happens as they increase in size, increase in age, and can also happen when there's an absence of males in the population. So this can be triggered by fishing, because oftentimes fishermen, they go out and they're trying to catch the largest, most magnificent fish they can, and in populations such as these, those are often going to be the males in the population. So a fisherman might go out and will catch this nice big male here, and then there will be less males in the population, and one of the larger, older females, such as this one, then might transition and become a male. So what I do to study this is we go out about 100 miles offshore in the Gulf of Mexico, catch a bunch of these fish, and then I look at their gonads under a microscope. And based on what their cells look like, I can tell if they're female or if they're male. And then from there, I can tell you how big the females are, how big the males are, and at about what size a female grouper might transition, change sex, and become a male grouper. So you can see my data up here on this graph. The ones in red are females, the ones in blue are males, and I found that at about 775 millimeters is about the point where these yellow-edged groupers out in the Gulf, where my sites are transitioning to become males. But you might notice I have a couple other dotted lines there. In 2011, which was the last stock assessment, they found that that size at sexual transition was a little bit larger. And a study a few years before that, in 2007, found that it was larger still. And that study noted that over the past 25 years, this size at sexual transition has been getting smaller and smaller. So this is a long-term trend. So the point at which these females are transitioning is getting smaller over at least the past 30 years. And this tells us two things about the population. One, there's probably a lack of males, which is why these smaller females are transitioning sooner to becoming males. And two, those males are then going to be smaller. And both of these things negatively impact reproduction. So these populations are not going to be reproducing as well, and the populations are not going to grow as well. And this has implications for stock assessment, so understanding how many fish are out there and how many fish we think will be out there in the future based on how they're reproducing. And that in turn has implications for then how we manage these species. So how many fish can we catch out there? What sizes would be okay to catch to make sure that the population stays sustainable?